ML Sports Take, brought to you by Stanley Law Offices, Rosie's Corner, and Elevate Fitness of Syracuse. A quick recap here. The Bills get it done at home. It was close. It was frustrating. It was nerve-wracking if you're a Bills fan. 34-31 over the Miami Dolphins. And I'm just going to kind of go all over the place with the takeaways from this football game. Number one, the Bills, when they jumped out to that 17-0 lead, you kind of said, okay, maybe those who don't think that it's going to be a blowout, they started to kind of go the other way, right? I was one of those people. I said, okay, maybe it will be. But then the Dolphins kept chipping away, and the Bills took the entire second quarter basically off. And you know, they go into the half with a 21-17 lead, or 20-17 lead, and frankly, you know, the Bass field goal late and all these mistakes in the second quarter, and you know, the penalties and the drops and all this sort of stuff. None of that was on number 17 from where I sat. I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, got on the guy late in the game, and rightfully so. I mean, that fumble that he had was ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why you're trying to take on a 6'1", you know, 360-pound behemoth with that, but just grab the ball, tuck it, and go down. You know, protect the possession, protect the football. You know, we've seen a lot of that from Josh Allen this year. I mean, for as good as he is, for as elite as he is in the big-time moments, Josh Allen's been turning the ball over a lot. And I don't know if that's a him thing, trying to do too much, if it's a Dable thing, not having him there. I have no idea. But Allen's got to kind of correct that here, maybe, you know, pretty soon when you kind of trying to make a run at the Super Bowl. But then, you know, in the second half, the Bills, they kind of got control in the third quarter a little bit, and then they kind of lost control again. And, you know, they were able to close it out 34-31, and I just really credit that last drive. Devin Singletary and the Bills being able to run the football really was a huge difference in this game. I feel like when the Bills go away from Gabe Davis and Stefon Diggs, and listen, I know that there is another team on the other side in terms of adjustments and, you know, defense and who you're facing and aggressiveness and schematic stuff and all that. There's another team on the other side. It's not like you're playing against yourself the entire game. But I feel like when the Bills go away from Davis and Diggs together, and I know the coverages can kind of be mixed and matched and all the rest, is Diggs, you know, being doubled, Davis gets open deep. Is he a boundary guy? Is, you know, Stefon going to the slot? Is he up on the left side? There's a lot of factors that go into it, zone versus man. But what I will say is when the Bills go away from the double D, right, Davis and Diggs, they also go away from the running game, and that's a concern because they go right to Shakir, they go right to Beasley, and we saw those drops happen across the board here in this football game. Dawson Knox, of course, that turnover, or I should say the change in the call. You know, that would have been a huge play as well early in the game. But as it turns out, the Bills, you know, they're up 20-17. The Dolphins take a complete command of the game, 24-20. You're kind of wondering, you're sitting on pins and needles, etc. And then all of a sudden, you know what? 5 plays, 33. Cole Beasley, touchdown. Work the short field. Gabe Davis, boom. 5 plays, 68 yards. Touchdown from Josh Allen. At that point, it's 34-24. The Dolphins get, you know, a touchdown, and it's 34-31. You're like, oh my goodness, and the timeouts and the game management, and the Bills were burning them and all the rest. And you sat there and said, is there a way to come out of here with a victory? Because let's be honest, the NFL, man, the Bills won 13 games this year. They could have won 14 if they had a chance against Cincinnati there, and we know the Damar Hamlin situation took that away, and rightfully so. They should have never played that game, and they made the right decision. But we're dealing with a 3-6 away team and a 9-8 team during the regular season with a third-string starting quarterback. And look, I don't think that Skylar Thompson played that poorly. I mean, I thought that he had a lot of drops in the first half. Hill dropped one, Waddle dropped one. They had multiple other ones from there to the end of the game. But again, he threw it 45 times. Let's not get confused here. While he did have his limitations, and or I should say, while he did have his bright moments, Skylar Thompson's still a third-string quarterback. He's never going to be a number one in this league. He threw it 45 times. He had to throw it 45 times to get 220 yards and 2 interceptions. The Bills clearly benefited today as well from not having Raheem Mostert in there, a guy who torched them the last time these two teams played. 42 yards of total offense for the Dolphins on the ground. And really, for 31 points, you'd be like, oh, well, show me the offense. If you didn't see the game, you'd say, oh my gosh, tons of guys went off. No, they didn't go off. The defense and the short field, creating turnovers and all the rest, got the Dolphins to 31 points. Now, the Bills, offensively, 107 yards total on the ground, meh. But the receiving, I really was thrilled with Diggs and Davis, both having 100-yard games. Davis caught the touchdown pass. 3 different Bills caught passes for touchdowns, Knox, Beasley, and Davis. And then, when you look at the defensive side of the football, when the Bills needed big plays, Who was it? Who was at the forefront today? Matt Milano. This dude was the best football player on the field today, in my opinion. 10 total tackles, 8 were solo, 2 sacks on the day. And the Bills got after Skylar Thompson for the tune of 4 sacks. And I just thought he was great. Taron Johnson picked it up late in the game. Tremaine Edmonds was tremendous from the beginning of the game until the end. I thought Boogie Basham had a really strong game, had a sack in this game. Dean Marlowe was absolutely fantastic. Our old friend Ed Oliver picked it up in the second half as well. Jordan Poyer, a little bit of a shaky day, blew some coverage, the Gesicki touchdown and all the rest. But for the most part, when he had to be there, he was. And I thought Dane Jackson was pretty good today. Kaiir Elam, you can't say enough about Kaiir Elam. I mean, you really can't. Today, outside of that one drop that was kind of in the breadbasket for him, Kaiir Elam was sensational today. I mean, he played a very physical game. He was rotating around on Ahmed Waddle. He was on Smith. He was on Hill. Gesicki helping out at times across the middle. He was phenomenal in this football game. Kaiir Elam probably his best game as a Buffalo Bill, and that's what they need because they need that physical presence and that great CB2 spot to kind of develop opposite side Trey White, and that's why they drafted this guy. And you know what? The Bills kind of this year, we've seen it before, right? At the Lions on Turkey Day, right? Like Browns on Sunday before that in Detroit, right? Like the Patriots game, well, they kind of dominated the Patriots game on the road, but, we've seen a lot of games this year where they've kind of looked either like, average, below average, playing down to their competition, whatever the case may be. Ken Dorsey is play calling, getting in the way of things, etc. They won a 3-point game against the Lions. They won an 8-point game against the Jets. They won a 3-point game against the Miami Dolphins back on December 17th, had to come back, right? Won a 10-point game against Green Bay before they lost those 2 against the Jets and the Vikings, and everybody wrote the Bills off. Then they started to win games close. They started to find ways. Beat Cleveland by 8, Detroit by 3, Patriots by 14, 8 over the Jets, 3 over the Dolphins. They blew out the Bears. Bengals game, wash, and then they beat the Patriots by 12 points in the season finale. My point is, in this league, sometimes you got to win ugly. You got to win in different ways, and the Bills have been doing that. They are now on a 8-game win streak, right? 8-game win streak. And, we'll await to see who they play next weekend. But this was a game that really felt like blowout at 17-0, and then you kind of said, whoop, and they took the second quarter off, and then you thought, okay, it's going to be a dogfight, and then you kind of lost a ton of confidence in the third quarter. You're, riding the emotions, and then the Bills get those 2 big drives in the third, and then it was enough to hang on, and they made enough plays down the stretch. By the way, in closing, I didn't think Josh Allen, those interceptions were really on him. I mean, Tony Romo noted it with the John Brown route run. Brown kind of went this way to the outside a little bit. I think Allen thought he was going to go to the inside, a little teardrop throw, and that wasn't the case. A little miscommunication there. I'm sure that those guys will talk about it and figure it out. But I didn't think that was on Allen. Then, of course, Cole Beasley. I mean, he pointed out, like, give me the ball, I'm here. And he throws it. It's right in his breadbasket. It just goes off his hands and off his arms and interception. So I didn't think that those 2 picks were on Allen at all. And if you go back and listen to the broadcast, Tony Romo really outlined the pass to John Brown extremely well. But at the end of the day, Josh Allen, man, what do you want? 372 yards total offense, 3 touchdowns through the air. They had number 17. And the defense, when the big plays were there, couldn't stop Josh Allen. When the big plays were there, the defense for the Bills stopped Skylar Thompson, a 3rd-string quarterback. And at the end of the day, you can talk about special teams, defensive players, this, that, and the other thing, turnovers, penalties, red zone offense, 3rd down defense, efficiency. But Josh Allen is on one team and the other team doesn't have him. And that was another big glaring thing today. I thought the Bills won basically the way I kind of predicted, right? I mean, I picked a close game today, 30-23. I never expected a blowout in this game, but it was Allen, and then the injuries for the Dolphins. And I thought that, the Bills, home cooking, the DeMar Hamlin, the emotion, all the rest, I really felt kind of came to the forefront. And the Bills get it done 34-31. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's an ML Sports Take brought to you by Burton, Ace Hardware, Ken's Auto Detailing, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, and our good friends over at, wait for it, Camillus Golf Club, man. Golf season's right around the corner. If you're in and around Central New York and New York State in general, go get your membership today at Camillus Golf Club. Again, get your membership at CamillusHillsGolfClub.com. Camillus Golf Club is the official golf course of the ML Sports Platter. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as I always tell you, enjoy the games.